Kedife bụ Osu. What is Osu? For centuries, societies have created systems that define who belongs and who does not belong. In some parts of Igbo societies, one such system silently shaped lives, marriages, identities, and leadership. It is known as Osu, a system which separates the freeborn from the outcast. To some, it is an ancient tradition. To others, it is a system of discrimination which to an extent has destroyed so many lives. And today we are here to look at the origin of Osu, how it was able to survive the pre-colonial era, and the social effects of Osu in the society today. Please stay with us. I am Maazi Chinwatakweaku, onye nkuzi ọdịnala nakwa asụsụ Igbo. Please stay with us to the end of this video. Now, what is Osu? The word Osu or an outcast does not necessarily mean rejected, inferior, evil, or cursed. The word Osu actually refers to a person that has been dedicated, set aside, consecrated, or dedicated to a deity in the Igbo society as it was before, even till this very moment. Now, for the sake of this video, I would like us to differentiate two things because people sometimes misconcept Osu with Oru. Osu simply means an outcast, while Oru is a slave. Now, let us touch Oru a little bit before we move on to Osu. Oru is a slave. In Igbo language, it is called Oru. Now, there are two basic ways one can become an Oru. That is a slave. You will agree with me that our people fought a lot of communal wars, and at the end of every war, there will always be a victor and a vanquished. Now, the victors who came out victorious, they will always go home with captives. That is one way a person could become an Oru. Is either captivity, either after war or in the slave markets. When our slave masters came, the people who colonized basically Nigeria in this context, not just Africa, Nigeria, it was predominant slave trade. When you go to slave markets, you buy slaves. That is true captivity, one. Then secondly, the second way a person can become a slave is through atonement. In the Igbo society, as it used to be before, when a person mistakenly takes the life of another person, you atone for it. Just like late Professor Chinwatakweaku position in his Things Fall Apart. Ikemefuna was given as an atonement to the people of Omo Ofia from Mbano because of what? They killed somebody. That is atonement. So these are basically the two ways a person can become an Oru in Igbo tradition. And the difference between Oru and Osu is that an Oru to an extent can buy his or her freedom along the way. Now, I believe you understand the concept of Oru. Now, let us look at Osu, an outcast. Osu, to an extent, was believed to have originated from some places. Although they were not documented, it was an oral hypothesis. Some believe it started from Nri, while others believe that it was predominant in Imo State, Olo to be precise. Let us not digress. But all these, I can tell you, to an extent, we'll call it a mere speculation because there was no proof to that. Now, Osu, when we talk about Osu, an outcast, it is a very silent killer in the Igbo society because when you mention it, it sends a shock to the spine of many. To an extent, people are denied leadership positions. Marriages have been scattered because of Osu. There are other things, associations because of Osu. There are secret titles one cannot take in a community when the word Osu is mentioned. Igbo Mulunze Mozo, please forgive me for the sake of this video. We are going to digress a little bit. There are basically 10 things that could make one to become an Osu or outcast in the Igbo society as it used to be before. Even though it still exists today, but some people are denying the presence of Osu in their community. There are basically 10 things that could make one become an Osu. The first one is dedication to a deity. Of course, that is the major thing people see as reason one could become an Osu, which is true, dedication. Before the coming of our slave masters and the Christians also, because the two are just interchangeable, our people practiced our spirituality, otherwise what we call the African traditional religion. We believe in the supremacy of Chukwu Okike. And now this Chukwu Okike, in the pantheon of Igbo cosmology, there are ways we communicate with Chukwu Okike. Which one of them is through the deities that are predominant in the Igbo cosmology when we talk about Kamalo, Amadiohan, and so on and so forth. Now, deities have people who serve them. There are people dedicated to look after these deities. These people dedicated to look after deities, they are seen as people who are sacred. They are owned spiritually by that particular deity. And to an extent, you cannot dare to touch these people. Touching them simply means that you are invoking the curse of the deity upon you and your family. Now, that is a major reason or a major way, particularly one could become an Osu. They cannot marry the freeborn, because marrying a freeborn to an extent, if you provoke them, it will bring about the wrath of the deity. And so people tend to shift away from them. The lineage, of course, when an Osu gives birth, Osu will always give birth to an Osu. That is number one. Now, the second thing that could make one become an Osu in the old Igbo tradition is through ostracism and banishment. When we talk about ostracize and banish someone, the two are related, but to an extent. When you ostracize somebody, ostracize to an extent, okay, let me put it this way. Ostracize simply donates to expel someone, to excommunicate somebody from a period of time. The person will not be able to associate with every other members of the society or the community. But after a period of time, the person could come back. Now, when people tend to become Osu from ostracizing is because there is always a politics in every sphere of life. Now, when this ostracize becomes, when it takes longer than expected, the person ostracized will tend to run to a deity in order to do what? To be welcomed back to an extent, but will be able to reclaim every other thing that they are supposed to partake from in the community. Now, another one is banishment. That is number two. We are talking about ostracize and banishment. Banishment simply means to expunge or to let the person go away from the community entirely throughout their lifetime. They are no longer accepted. Their offspring are not welcome in the society. Now, when this type of a thing happens, the person will look at losing his or her identity for a lifetime. You can imagine that kind of scenario. Now, in order to avoid such a thing, the person can run to a deity and tell the deity, today, my freedom and every other thing I've given up. Today, I belong to you. Take care of my very self and my family. We will serve you. But for the sake of that, please preserve us. Allow us to do what? To coexist. This person now that have been banished may not come back to his or her own community. Sometimes they may be allowed, since they have run to the deity, to be their as their sanctuary. Now, the freeborns, you cannot do anything to them. The only thing is that they are no longer fit to partake in anything in the community, but whatever that belongs to them is still theirs. They can only get married to Osu. I don't know if you are following. Now, that is the second one that could make someone an Osu. Another thing that could make someone an Osu in the old Igbo tradition is, our people used to perform human sacrifices to deities and other things, sometimes for cleansing in the community. Now, when one commits a heavy crime, instead of punishing them, or let me put it this way, someone who commits murder, sometimes they are being kept in order to be used as sacrifices. Now, in this process, this person that have been set aside, knowing fully well that maybe so time during harvest or during full moon or so day, that they are going to be sacrificed to a deity. Now, to an extent, they tend to give their life to that deity so as not to be killed. Because anyone who belongs to a deity, who is an Osu, cannot be killed, cannot be tampered with. That is another way people became Osu in the old tradition. I think that is number 3. Now, the fourth one is through birth. You will agree with me that before, a particular deity has vicinity. A particular deity, maybe you have maybe a plot of land or some areas of land that it is allocated or dedicated to that particular deity. Maybe you have palm trees, apple trees, and all whatnot. Now, just like they say that ignorance is not an excuse in the court of law, same way it is spiritually. Some people may not believe this, but it is the truth. When a woman gives birth at the shrine of a particular deity or its vicinity, an area that is being owned by a particular deity, automatically that child has become what? An Osu, in the sense that it belongs to that particular deity. But to an extent, there are rituals people perform or to appease that particular deity so that the newborn could be a freeborn instead of Osu. Another thing, I think this is number 5, that could make one become an Osu, wars. Like I said when I was talking about Uru, wars could make one become an Osu. Not could, made people became Osu in the old tradition, in the olden days, not old tradition, in the olden days. When I say that afterwards there will always be a victor and a vanquished. Now, those people that were taking hostages, they are Oru. They are Oru slaves. Now, to an extent, some slaves are being treated badly by their slave masters. Some are taken to the slave market to be sold. Now, some of these slaves, to an extent, runs to a deity in that community in order to gain their freedom. When a slave runs to a deity, the slave automatically turns to an Oru. And now, in this context, the slave no longer belongs. He or she is no longer a property of the slave master. He or she now belongs to the deity. And in so doing, the slave master does not have total control over that slave again. In so doing, the person now is free, but cannot marry a freeborn, cannot take a title, sacred positions in the society. That is another way one or people became became Osu in the olden days. Now, another one, I think the 6th one is marginalization. Marginalization made people run to deities. Just like late Pa Mike Ejaya in one of his popular songs, Udeze. Udeze was a rich man, and to an extent, the king of his village began to look for a way to take everything that belonged to Udeze. And we all saw how it happened, how he ran to his maternal home and later he came back. If it were to be in real life situation, Udeze would have run to a deity in order to secure him and his family and belongings. But he will give his freedom to that particular deity. Now, when people were marginalized to an extent in the olden days, people are being sought after. You take whatever belongs to them. Now, they run after deities. So many of them, they gave up their freedom to become an Osu, but still have whatever thing that belongs to them. And they gave up positions, strategic positions, and marriages to freeborn. In so doing, they became Osu in the old Igbo tradition. Yes, I think this is the seventh one now that made people became Osu in the olden days. Stealing from a deity. Stealing from a deity. There are people who made it a point of duty, or let me say people with that cause, because I don't believe any human being in his or her right senses will go to the shrine of a particular deity and steal whatever he or she finds there. Now, people who stole from deity, automatically they became an Osu. Nobody goes after them. The deity comes after them. Now, but if the so-called person was lucky enough, his or her family had a particular number of days or market days to perform a ritual after returning whatever he or she must have stolen from a deity. Otherwise, that person becomes an Osu automatically, stealing from a deity. Ije n'okwu alụsị. Automatically, you belong to that deity. You are no longer a freeborn. Now, the eighth one, stay with us. The very last one will shock you. Now, this is the eighth thing that made people become Osu in the olden days. Marriage to an Osu. Marriage to an Osu. You know, no part of Igbo community, I don't think there's any part of Igbo community where a man who did not actually pay a bride price of a particular lady can officially take her home. But to an extent, due to youthful exuberance and juvenile delinquencies, people tend to elope, because before you get married in olden days, people do ask series and series of questions. Now, when it comes up that two people cannot be joined together in a matrimony, they tend to elope. And when you are not sure of this particular person, his lineage, and everything that has to do with the person, if the person happens to be an Osu and you elope with the person, automatically you have become an Osu without knowing. And anytime you think of coming back to your community, you'll be regarded as one. At this point, if you have not subscribed or followed us or liked, then it means you don't want other people to learn from this topic. The ninth one, remember we said is 10. This ninth one is this: killing of an Osu. Now, when you take the life of an Osu, you must replace that life you've taken. It is a no-go area. Automatically, you have become an Osu. Now, but there is always a remedy for this particular point, this particular one. In the olden days, you could go to slave market and buy a slave and bring it to that deity as a replacement for the Osu which you have taken his or her life. Now, there is a particular number of days and some rituals expected to take place before this happens. If you are not able to fulfill it within that particular period of time, you yourself who killed that Osu belonging to a deity automatically becomes an Osu in replacement for that life which you have taken. So when you shed the blood of an Osu, automatically becomes one. Now, the last but not the least, this is going to shock you because it concerns everybody. Obasarage, whether you know or not, as it used to be in the olden days. Sleeping with an Osu. That is when I see people still talking of Osu, and I tell them that basically 80% of everybody is an Osu, because not just sleeping with an Osu. When you've collected something with an Osu, when you've collected something from an Osu, or you've transacted with an Osu, whatever thing it is you must have exchanged with an Osu, automatically makes you one. So this very last one, people tend to joke with it, but it's actually happened. So these are basically the 10 things that actually made people become Osu in the olden days. There are other things people look at, but these 10 things that I've listed here actually contributed to reason people became Osu in the olden days. Now, I ask you, you that is listening to me, do you still talk about Osu in your community? Does it still exist? Or was it just a mere speculations that it has been abolished? Because I know of people who still practice it till today, silently. You can do everything within the community, but when it comes to marriage and the strategic leadership positions, you'll be reminded that you are an Osu. Your grandfather was an Osu. So lineage you came from, they are Osu. Does it still exist today in your community? If yes, what efforts are you making, or what efforts is the leadership of your community? What efforts, to an extent, what have they done? Because I assume that you and I, we are aware that Ohaneze Ndi Igbo have come to abolish this. Even the old Igbo communities or Igbo leaders have come together to abolish whatever thing people still see as Osu today. But some people still keep that in existence silently. Igbo mụrụ nze mụ ọzọ, I greet you. Ekene m unu. Ọ mụ bụ Maazi Chinwatakweaku, onye nkuzi ọdịnala na asụsụ Igbo. Please, let us argue this constructively, with respect. Please, when you get to the comment section, ask questions. Whatever thing you think is not correct here, we learn every day. There are disparities in some traditions in various communities of Igbo land. That is why we have Ordinala and Omenala. Odibende, sorry, and Omenala. Odibende is peculiar to your community. Omenala, so I believe some things we've talked about here today, there are the ones you say is a lie. Let us talk about it in the comment section. Thank you.